Welcome back to Princesscoree. Welcome back to another makeup tutorial. Today's tutorial is a 10-minute concealer base routine. As you can see, I already have the concealer placed on my face, so you want to follow that exact placement if you're following along. I will be using my NYX palettes and products today because I am attending the NYX. I don't know why I call it NYX. Is it NYX or NYX or whatever? I'm attending their Halloween party today and I am getting ready. I'm a little late, which is why I'm doing this super quick concealer only base routine. It's very quick and easy, comes out flawless, so follow along. I decided to use my NYX products because it's just such a full circle moment for me. I've been using NYX since I was in high school. I used to get them from the drugstore near me, and so nothing really screams full circle more than this. It's also one of the brand events that I haven't had a chance to attend over the years, and one of the first few brand events I actually really had a desire to be attending. So I'm just grateful that I get to be in these rooms. I always say and think to myself, if I, whose executive function does not want to function half the time, can still find a way to have the life that I have and get things done, then it's almost a promise that you will be okay too, even though nobody else understands how hard it is for you to just be. Literally, only fellow neurodivergent people understand how hard it is to simply participate in all the things that people would normally participate in without feeling stressed out or exhausted. So even though these videos should have been out, I'm putting them out now, and that's all that matters. And it matters because I'm still doing what matters to me despite the setbacks and despite the difficulties. And that really is what a neurodivergent life is. It's fighting for yourself, fighting for the things that matter to you, fighting for your sanity every damn day, masking through it all, acting like none of it is hard. On my Instagram, I try to post very positive, uplifting messages. I basically do text overlays with my lifestyle content. At some point in my journey creating content, I just got so tired of seeing the same things all over and over again with no real impact or value. I get how complex it can be being an advocate, especially for the environment, while also participating in the fashion industry. And although the fashion industry is one of the biggest pollutants, the beauty industry isn't far behind in terms of being a pollutant. And yet, I love beauty and I love fashion, and I also love advocacy. For me, the most complicated part has been figuring out how to advocate for better, how to basically make people see that a different world is possible, how to make people reimagine the systems and societies we live in, while also being a part and participating in said systems like the beauty and fashion industry. There isn't any part of me that wants to no longer do my makeup or no longer participate in fashion. However, I understand that the current rate at which we are producing and the current rate at which we are expected to consume in order to keep up this capitalistic systems that we have now are not sustainable in any way. And if nothing is continued to be done about it, and if the situations continue to be ignored, in the end, it will affect all of us. At that point, being ignorant will not save you. At that point, talking about it might not even be enough anymore. So right now that we still have an opportunity to talk about it and let people know how their actions have very severe consequences on the world's ecosystems, then maybe we might actually be able to start being part of the solutions sooner rather than later. I understand that like everything else, it's easier said than done, but I also know that it's not impossible. It's actually more possible than a capitalistic society will allow us to imagine, because you reducing your carbon footprint, you reducing your consumption of fast fashion, and you reducing your overall consumption is so much more attainable than you becoming a billionaire. Okay, let's say it's realistic for you to become a millionaire. You do something amazing, you get rewarded, now you're a millionaire. But becoming a billionaire where you own multiple $1 million mansions, now anybody with common sense will tell you that being a sustainable individual is way more attainable than becoming a billionaire. I agree that there's nothing inherently wrong with money. It's more so our perception of it that has been skewed and has led us down this path to where we have a resistance to critically analyze things surrounding money. Like the reasons millionaires and billionaires even exist. It's impossible for you to ethically become a billionaire. Just like within racism, it's impossible for there to be equal races. One race always has to be inferior to make the other one superior. It's simply a tool. The elites have used these systems to accumulate capital since the beginning of time. I don't know if anyone else thinks about it, but there is so much evil in the world, and it all boils down to money. This is why some people are of the belief that money is indeed the root of all evil. Now, some people will tease people who believe this and say, well, okay, what are you going to eat if money is the root of all evil? How will you afford your life? And that argument always seems to ignore the fact that there are conditions. There are conditions and there's context to why people cannot afford their lives. We could always make the conversation about working harder, but we should know it's really not about working harder. I already do, but I am resisting with everything that I am, living in a world where the humanity of certain groups are questioned and trampled upon. Empathy is becoming non-existent because everyone is too worried about the next achievement or thing they're gonna get. There's no more community because everyone is looking out for themselves alone. And to make it even sadder, they feel that they have to do this in order to survive. It makes me so sad to think of the future that we will have if nothing changes. I told my mom I'm not interested in having children because I think that all of my energy should be put into changing the world, really. And although I still love fashion and I still love beauty, I still really believe that there is a way that we can have the best of both worlds, but we have to acknowledge that we're not doing things right. I can't tell you where I'll be in the next 5 years, but I know for a fact that this is the foundation for something much, much bigger than this channel and than myself. If your dreams aren't making you shake at night, are you even dreaming big enough? I know this is a silly amount of responsibility to take on. It's so much work between showing up in real life, showing up online, studying, and trying to find ways to frame and communicate in ways that people can easily receive your information. All of that is so much work. It's grueling, hard work. But somebody's gonna do it, right? I thought about it and I have a passion for advocacy more than anything else. I'm not passionate about talking about eyeshadows or lipsticks. It's really not that deep. It just looks cute and I'm just a girl. But protecting our environment, protecting our oceans, protecting our spirit, protecting our character, now that's important stuff. And I've been hesitant to show up because I don't have all the answers. I need to find the answers myself and then I can share them with you guys. But I know that that's what I want to talk about. That's what I want to do. That's what I want to share. Maybe one day I'll even be brave enough to share the questions that I have. I have so many questions, but I feel so insecure showing up with nothing but questions because let's just say because of the ADHD symptoms that I experience, I have a love-hate relationship with questions. For me, a lot of the times, questions just lead to more questions, and sometimes I'm just not in the mood for that, so I'm just hesitant to show up with questions because I know usually when you're asked a question, the response that should be next or the conclusion of the question should be an answer, but for me, it's just more questions, and so it stresses me out. I don't want to stress you guys out, not yet. We're not that comfortable with each other yet anyway, so voila, the look is done. This is probably one of the quickest routines I've ever done. As you can see, sometimes using concealer is the way to go. The look came out exactly how I wanted it. I wanted something soft and natural and really quick because as usual I was running late. I wasn't too sure if I was attending this party because of something that happened in my personal life, so I didn't have a costume for the Halloween party. I decided to just be a baddie for Halloween, so I went with this Bamie top, skirt from Miu Miu's, boots from New Bella, and I headed out. Once I got to the event, I signed in, got my tickets for my drinks, and started creating content because I was vlogging for you guys. There were way more people than I was expecting, and I was a little overwhelmed at first, but I was also really committed to creating content and vlogging, so I just had to speak to a couple people to get like full body shot content for me for the vlog. I didn't realize until I had left and was looking at the content, but even though there were so much food and drinks for free, I didn't eat anything. I was just so overwhelmed. I literally needed 24 hours after this event to process that I was at the event. I've been in rooms with way more people, but I was not as overwhelmed as I was this day. It probably had a lot to do with where I was mentally and emotionally at the time. And also, like I said, this was literally a dream come true. So my dreams were coming true at a time where I was also like very hurt. I was clearly feeling a lot, but of course I'm trying to act like I'm okay. What else is new? As soon as I walked in, I had to find someone who was going to stay with me throughout the night and help me out. She got all my content for me, even though I was getting frustrated because at some point the venue was so smoky that all my pictures were coming out so smoky and blurry. Yeah, that made me really upset. I was this close to crying because I was taking pictures of everyone else and they were coming out spectacular. But when I wanted to take my own pictures, it was smoky, like, excuse me? Yeah, I honestly was getting so irritated and just done with everything, but I'm glad that she was patient with me as well and really helped me out. I ended up seeing a couple familiar faces, some I knew from Instagram and some I knew from TikTok. The shorty I was talking to you about who helped me literally has like 3 million followers on TikTok. She's famous. I think she's a YouTuber as well, but I was really just in literal awe that I was in the same room as all this amazing creators. I love creating, I love the events, I love it all, but I don't think the kind of creator I want to be is a creator who's basically a mannequin and marketer for brands instead of actually being a personality, having things that they believe in and are fighting for. I feel the need to say that this is no shade, like my content, my brand, being an advocate is no shade to other creators who aren't. It's no shade to creators who simply love clothes and makeup just for what they are. It's also not any shade to creators who don't feel the need to make any form of impact and just participate in the systems. I feel the need to say that because a lot of the times my peers aren't advocates. My peers are just people who enjoy creating and enjoy the privileges and luxuries that creating affords them. I have seen other creators like me who have a positive impact, and because of them, I know that what I do matters, and I know that because of my content, somebody else will see why it's important to make content that is impactful. I may never be able to measure just how much impact I have. I may never be able to measure my success. I may even be one of those artists who gets their flowers after they die. And that's why I am decentering my ego, really decentering everything that's going to stand in the way of me showing up consistently with the right message. If there's one thing you should take away from this video, it's that you should simply be more intentional and sustainable with your choices. I can attempt to give you a list of do's and don'ts, but we both know it's really up to you and down to the decisions you make. It's important to spread this awareness because nobody can grow past the amount of wisdom they have. When I think about the state of the world, I get so depressed, it's insane. I'm a lifestyle creator, so most of what you see of me online is very aesthetically pleasing, but also very visually curated. And to think that this amount of privilege that I have is simply not accessible or attainable for so many women around the world because of where they live and what our society has decided they deserve because of where they live. It's not right, and just thinking about them, acknowledging their existence and acknowledging the fact that so much of what I call privilege in my current life is as a result of the sufferings of others. So if I have to suffer a little to make the world a little better, then I will. But I'll also be happy, and I'll also love and live my life passionately and do other things that interest me I'm not only going to be an advocate. That's just not me. I wasn't born to be one thing. I wasn't born to be a makeup YouTuber or a fashion YouTuber or a content creator or a financial advisor or caterer. I do it all, and I'm finally embracing being able to do it all and finally seeing how blessed and fortunate I am to be able to do it all. If there's one goal that I truly have this year, it's to collaborate with other creators more and really get out of my bubble. Like I've said, I seem to have different interests than most other creators that are my peers, but at the same time, I feel like I could form good connections with people if I tried a little harder. I could definitely be less judgmental of other people's lifestyles and choices. At the end of the day, I realized it's not me against them, it's us against the problem. So thanks for watching. I will see you in my next video.